Hey everybody, Jake here, and today we're going to take a look at a pocket pen from Pilot. This is the Pilot Petit1. There's also Petit2 and 3 that are a brush pen and ballpoint or something like that. I'm not positive. But this is the fountain pen version. Uses the same nib from the Pilot Varsity. And it's a pretty decent pen. If you're looking to try out a pocket pen at a very affordable price, this is a great choice for you. And we'll go ahead and go over the normal stuff. Go ahead and go over specs, do some size comparisons, the like, neutral, dislike, writing sample, and a conclusion for this pen. So let's go ahead and jump right into the specs. Okay, first up, the length closed is 107.7 millimeters. When you open up the pen, it's 94.5 millimeters, very, very short, again, pretty much unusable. But when you post it, it comes out to 132.3, which is a pretty decent pen length. The diameter of the section is fairly large for a pocket pen. It's 10.8 millimeters, very chunky in general for most cheaper pens. The weight, uncapped, is 7 grams, caps 3 grams, overall weight, 10 grams. That is with ink. In this proprietary cartridge they have here. On to some size comparisons. So first up, obviously, the Pilot Petite. We're just going to do some closed size comparisons so you guys can see how big this would be in your pocket or wherever you're going to carry it. Here's a TWSBI Diamond 580 All in pink. That just shows you right there is about 1.5 inches or so that the TWSBI has on the Pilot pen. And the TWSBI is not a huge pen either. Here is a Jinhao 992, or Monteverde Monza. I have a review of those two coming up fairly soon. Keep an eye out for that one. And the Pilot Vanishing Point, which is a fairly long pen. So you can see it's a pretty decently small pen, easy to put in your pocket. And just for fun, we'll go ahead and show you the uncapped, which you would not use this pen uncapped unless you have very, very tiny hands. Here it is next to the TWSBI, which I do use unposted, since it's a decent length and it doesn't really post. So you can see how much shorter it is. The nib really only comes a little bit past the grip section on that one. Here's the Monza, which is a really small pen. Not the Monza, I apologize. The Jinhao 992, which is a really small pen. And there's the Vanishing Point, which is again a fairly long pen. So we'll go ahead and post this and show you side by side with these pens as well. So you can see when posted, it comes out to be a little bit longer than the TWSBI, which is surprising. It's fairly close even to the Vanishing Point. Counting the nib and all, you'd grip the Vanishing Point further down typically, but you know. And just for fun, I'll show you the 992 and the TWSBI posted. The TWSBI is obviously too long to fit in frame here. And the 992, when posted, comes up to a decent length. It's not huge, but it's a lot more comparable because of how deep it posts. Alright, now I'll go ahead and show you some pens that are a lot more similar in size to the Pilot Petite. First up, a very competitive pen for 10 times the price, really. The Kaweco Sport Skyline. Despite the stylings of this pen, it is a very good pen. And you can see it's very comparable in size to the Petite. It's actually a little bit shorter. And here it is next to the Fisher Bullet Space Pen, which is a very small ballpoint pen that I just happen to carry around. So you can see this is right in there with the typical pocket pen size. So let's go ahead and post it and show it next to the other pens posted. So you can kind of compare and see which one interests you more out of really the two fountain pens here. So here's the Kaweco, and you can see they're, again, very similar in length. The Kaweco is just a tiny bit longer, not very much, and the Fisher Bullet Space Pen, just for size reference. This pen is very different from the Sport in a variety of ways. And I do prefer the Sport, but we'll talk about that later as well. Now on to another size comparison. This is the unbiased truth serum that every reviewer takes before reviewing something. I took it before reviewing this pen. You can see this pen posted is about 2 vials of truth serum. And if you cap the pen, it comes out to about 1 3/4, maybe, vials of truth serum. So if you guys carry on truth serum. On to what I like. First up's the nib. The nib and the flow. This isn't a super wet pen, but it is a whole lot wetter than the Preppy I just took a look at. And the nib's pretty decent. This is the nib off of the Varsity, but to be honest, it writes a whole lot smoother than the Varsity I picked up with it. But the nib is very, very good. Very plain looking nib. It does have a clear feed as well, which is kind of cool if you have any ink that isn't black. Alright. So on to the rest of the like list. First up really is the size. Obviously, you can't use it unposted very well, but once you post it, it becomes a very usable pen, and when capped, it's very easy to slide in your pocket of your jeans or your shirt pocket. It does have a clip on it, so that helps a little bit over other pocket pens, depending on how you like to carry them, so that could be a determining factor for you as well. But it's very diminutive size, and when capped, it's posted. I apologize. It becomes a very usable length pen that you can use for semi-long form writing, because the grip is for a lot larger than typical pocket pens, so it makes it easy to use. I enjoy the posting a lot on this pen. It posts very securely. There's little notches on the section. You can kind of see it click there. The notches are very hard to see on camera, but it uses the same notches on the back of the pen for posting. So the cap has a little ridge that clicks down over those notches. Now, because of that, it posts extremely securely, and you can really feel and see the click there. It doesn't feel like the cap's going to come off. I've never had any issues with that. It posts and caps securely, and I actually enjoy the capping and posting mechanism quite a bit. Next thing is the price. These pens are $3.80 on Jet Pens. I picked this up in a 3-pack with a Varsity and a Preppy for $9 off of Amazon, just because I wanted to try all three at the time. And you can pick them up from anywhere, really anywhere from $3 to $5, which, if you're looking for a pocket pen, is a great way to check one out before committing all the way. Next thing I like is the fact that this can be converted to an eyedropper. It does have big block threads, which is not great for eyedropping, but it does have a decent size capacity when you eyedropper convert it, and there's several tutorials online you can find to help you do that. But basically, you just apply silicone grease to the threads, fill the barrel up until it gets to the thread line, and then cap it. And that can allow for some interesting ink. Next up's the build. Fairly decently built pen. I don't see any seams from manufacturing or anything like that. And it appears to be fairly solid but cheap plastic. Alright, on to the neutral. First up is the section. This section, it's a decent size, but it has no contouring. And what I mean by that is it's flat all the way across. There's not a single dip or curve to help you grip the pen more ergonomically. It's just there, and it feels very blocky, which I didn't think I would ever use to describe a pen, but feels very chunky in your hand, and it can get uncomfortable to use. Next up is really the branding. You can see it when I'm holding the pen right here, because it always sits at the top of the pen. It says Pilot Petit1, or Petit1 Pilot. This is a little bit obnoxious, but it isn't terrible. It could be much, much worse, but it's not great. I really wish they put it on the clip somewhere to kind of hide it, but they put it right there on top. And any way you thread this pen, really, it's going to come back out to that branding being on top right near the nib, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's not nearly as bad as like the Preppy was. Alright, on to the dislike. First thing up is this cartridge. This is a proprietary cartridge, sort of. Well, completely, because it's platinum proprietary, but it will fit all platinum pens as far as I know, but not all platinum cartridges will fit in this pen. So you have to purchase these cartridges from a website or store if you can find them, and use them in this pen. Of course, You can always refill the cartridges with a syringe or eyedropper convert the pen, which I'd recommend one of those two over buying these proprietary cartridges. But it's there. Next thing I dislike is the clip. It's there, which is okay, but it's a very, very flimsy feeling clip. It feels like it could break any moment. It's just not very secure. Last thing on the dislike list are the shoulders on this nib. They're extremely, extremely sharp. They come down to a point. If your hand slipped while you're gripping this pen, I don't think you'd cut yourself or anything like that, but it would be very uncomfortable. Alright, onto the writing sample. Again, this pen it's not super wet, but it's not very dry either. It's a decent flow. I like it quite a bit. And out of the 3 pens, even though I haven't reviewed the Varsity quite yet for you guys, this one's probably my favorite writer. Although I do like the rest about the Preppy better probably. And this is a fine nib from Pilot, which is kind of like a Western Extra Fine. And it's reasonably fine. As you can see there, it's a little bit wider than the Varsity that I have, but not too bad. And this is just the Pilot Black ink cartridge. It does come with a couple, 1 or 2 I believe. But because of how fine it writes, you're not really going to burn through ink super fast in this pen. And just to show you some quick line variation, normal line with no pressure, line with a little bit of pressure, and reverse writing. This pen doesn't really flex. You can get some line variation, but I'd be really worried about damaging the pen, to be honest. And you can see there's no hard starts or skips or anything like that. Alright, on to the conclusion. So this is a decent pen, especially for the price. And I am going to recommend this pen to you under a couple situations or restrictions. If you're looking to try a pocket pen, try it. If not, get the Kaweco. If you know you're going to like a pocket pen, get that. The section's better. Your options for cartridges are significantly more. It can also be eyedropper and has better threads. It is a bit more expensive, but to me, it's a much, much better pen. If I had to pick between the two, it would be the Kaweco. But if you want to try the form factor without, spending a ton of money on a pen, try this. It's similar in size to the Kaweco. It doesn't feel quite the same in the section, but the rest of the pen feels pretty similar. So you can kind of get a feel for the pen and see what it's like to carry around such a small pen. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.